Hey guys, here to do a video for you. For those of you watching in real time, sorry for the late video, um, but this is what I got for you for tonight. Most of you probably won't see this until the next day, and that's totally okay. Um, so here's the deal. Today we're gonna do something new, something that I haven't done before. This is gonna be a little bit of a longer video, so you know, stay until the end if you want. That would be great. So today we're going to do a top five list, and it's going to be the top five classic movies you've got to see. That's what I'm going to call it. I consider these classics. I think they're great. I think they're a lot of fun. I'm going to try to use a few movie clips in the video, but if they're not there, know that it's probably because I changed my mind at the last minute. So here we go. Number five. Um, Last on the list is a movie that I absolutely fell in love with. Um, it's actually the movie Cloak and Dagger from 1984. Now, a lot of you may know the lead in the movie, Henry Thomas, from his role as Elliot in Steven Spielberg's E.T. But this movie is super, super good. Um, in my opinion, I really love the story behind it. I'm trying to see which one of those came first. Yeah, E.T. came first, and then he did Cloak and Dagger afterwards. And I absolutely love Cloak and Dagger. It's sort of like, this spy espionage movie. And the one thing that I absolutely love about this movie that they do so well is they kind of play into that child's imagination kind of thing, because you there's several points in the movie where you're not sure whether there's actually something going on. I mean, the character Davy, in the movie, Henry Thomas's character Davy, he thinks that something is going on. He believes that there's something more to the story, and all these different things are going on. But you don't really get a whole lot of proof. And so there's this thing where a lot of the adults in his life, they don't believe him, and they're not sure, and all these types of different scenarios. But it's great if you love like spy movies and like espionage type things, then I think you'll really enjoy this movie. It's really fun. It's a great family movie. It's a good movie for kids. It's only rated PG, so you don't have to worry about like anything bad in it. It's got a great message. Some of the other actors in it are Dabney Coleman. We got Michael Murphy, John McIntyre, just to name a few. Um, so it's a fun it's a fun movie. I think you should give it a shot. So that's number five. And if any of you guys have seen Cloak and Dagger, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. So next on the list at number four. And let me say before going on, doing this list was incredibly hard because I wanted to pick movies that I knew that a lot of people probably hadn't seen, especially, no offense, but any of you younger people that watch this or come across this. So I wanted to try to inform people, or maybe people of my generation that maybe never got around to watching, these movies. I wanted to, talk about them. So the next movie on the list, at number four, is Explorers from 1985. Joe Dante is the director of this, and it's awesome. This is absolutely a movie you've got to see. It's so quirky. It's so much fun. You can't go wrong with Explorers. It's about space and like you get these kids that come together and they try to build a spaceship and all these different things, and it's a real story about friendship and all sorts of like these great elements that makes like a really good a movie like that. Um, Ethan Hawke is in it, so if you want to see like a really, really, really young Ethan Hawke, I mean, he was even great when he was a kid. It's just really not fair. But you also have one of my favorite actors, or child stars or young stars, River Phoenix. River Phoenix is fantastic in this movie. I love him in Stand By Me, and he's great in this. I mean, this is just such a fun movie, especially if you like space and exploration and all of these kind of different things like that. I think you should give it a shot. So this is definitely number 4 on the list. Uh, Number 3. Um, some of you might roll your eyes at this, okay? Like you probably will, but just hear me out on this. At number 3, we got The Neverending Story, which came out in 1984. I'm not going to go into this too much because if you don't really know what this movie is about, then you just need to just turn off your computer and just leave. Just go. But just in case that is the case, this movie is classic. It's so great. We've got all these amazing characters like Atreyu and Bastian. We got Falcor. We got all these great things. It's a fantasy movie. Um, it's basically about this kid, and he's reading a story, and all these kind of crazy things start happening. But you get all these like really whimsical, really fun like characters. I mean, in some places it is more of a kind of a dark movie, but I really like that because something that I miss from generations before mine is that the movies that were made for kids back then, they didn't dumb things down. It didn't, everything didn't have to be all happy day all the time, and I miss that. And because you miss great opportunity to tell great stories and great morals and things that kids need to learn as they grow up. And this movie is fantastic. It's absolutely one of my favorite movies. Grew up on it. I used to watch this movie to death. I absolutely love it. Again, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Like, seriously, you'll be doing yourself a favor. Uh, Now, when we get to the last 2 places, it was really hard for me to figure out what the order of all of this was going to be. Because I actually considered some other movies on the list. I was going to make a top 10, but I wanted to make this more shorter because I knew it was going to be longer anyways. So number 2 is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 1988. You got the wonderful Bob Hoskins. You got Christopher Lloyd. You cannot go wrong with this movie. It's just a blast. Again, another movie that I loved watching as a kid growing up. Used to watch it all the time. I actually remember the first time I ever saw this movie was on Disney Channel way back in the days. For those of you that remember the days that they played Growing Pains and different shows like that. Yeah, this movie is great. It's again, it's a little bit darker or kind of edgier in some places. It doesn't hide what it is. It's a great detective story. Um, they take this character of Roger Rabbit, which can be this completely, absolutely annoying character, and they make him endearing and they make him absolutely lovable, and you just can't help but to just fall in love with the story at play. And the mix between live action and cartoon is just incredible. I think for an older film or from a film from the 80s or before, they do it the best. I haven't seen any older film that tries to merge like animated characters and people better than they do it in this. They were brilliant in how they brought this movie to life, and you believe it and it makes sense. And it's a great. It's not a perfect movie, don't get me wrong, but it's so much fun. You absolutely will enjoy this. It's worth the watch. But now we get to number one. And probably a lot of you are probably wondering, what the heck are you putting at number one? And again, some of you might roll your eyes, okay? Some of you may have no idea what this movie is. But I'm going to give some of you a hint though. If you know what The Dark Crystal is, that should clue you in on what this is. Because if you like that movie, then you probably like this movie. But if you like The Dark Crystal and you haven't seen this movie, well then let me tell you about it. It's Labyrinth. Jim Henson's Labyrinth. This movie I could absolutely talk about all day long. I love it. Not only am I a huge David Bowie fan, and David Bowie is in this movie. He plays the villain in the movie, and he's fantastic. It's got great music. Jennifer Connelly, a young Jennifer Connelly, who is fantastic as always. You get these lovable, like Muppets, these creatures that they create for this movie. It's one of the best movies you'll ever watch. I actually just watched this movie like 2 nights ago. I couldn't sleep, and I figured, what the heck, I'll put in Labyrinth, watch it, and it holds up. It really does hold up in 2016. It's think of it like a live action Disney movie. It's got the music, it's got the story, it's lovable, it's got a great villain, it's got a great heroine, really wonderful characters, and I absolutely love this world of Labyrinth, and I wish that someone would do more with it. I really do. I know it's probably heresy to say, but I would love to see more done with this world if someone could ever figure out how, because it's sad to see it die. Yeah, it's my probably one of my all-time favorite kids movies, or Henson movies for that matter, or 80s movies for that matter. Came out in 86. It's fantastic. You can't go wrong. Let me know what you guys think of all these movies. If you haven't seen them, are you planning on giving them a shot? If you have, what are your thoughts? Would you have put these particular movies in a different order? I'm sure there's a lot of you that would probably put The Neverending Story at number 1, or Explorers at number 1, or Explorers at number 2. Some of you guys might not have even put Who Framed Roger Rabbit on the list. But, again, I wanted to pick movies that maybe not a lot of people have given a chance, or thought of watching, or anything like that. So this is my list. Go check them out, and come back and let me know what you think. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Please drop this a like if you like it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.